Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Specs Tech. Now today we have another Atari related item. Really the only other one I have is this Atari Flashback 4. Yeah, it's not the newest one. This one's from, I turned it on and it said 2011. So this is from 2011. It has backwards compatibility with the original controllers, but not the cartridges like some of the newer ones do. This is the lightest gaming device I've ever held in my whole life. This thing weighs barely anything. The controller actually is heavier. I'm not kidding. But yeah, the design of it is, it's at games. It's passable. It looks a little goofy, and the newer ones are definitely more accurate. Got some difficulty buttons, select button and start, which is interesting to have on the console. I'm gonna plug it back in and take a look at the controller. The controllers are wireless. They're infrared, and obviously it's one button. Way better stick than the original 2600 controller. There's another controller this I have that's strictly for two-player that gets rid of the reset and start select button because two-player doesn't really need that. So it's honestly a nice feature. Obviously officially licensed by Atari. Not a bad joystick, honestly. Way better. Like the original one's like super stiff. This one's actually relatively loose. Some boomers out there might not like that because change is different and boomers can't handle change. So they might not like this. But we're gonna go ahead and power this unit up and the camera up a bit. So this is from I don't know if you saw, but this is from 2011. There's gonna be scan lines. Nothing I can do. So there's a bunch of games on here. Obviously, we're not going to go through all 8 pages. But there is a decent amount of variety here. You got Adventure 2, some sports games, some tank games. We'll just go into a couple. Quite a lot of variety here. And since there is a second controller, multiplayer is definitely an option on this device. And any newer ones, too. They also got like the Water World and Earth World, Fire World games. English is hard. I don't think there's any Activision games in here. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think there is. I think they would have been like right here. Pitfall would have been right here. So you're just basically getting official Atari games only on here. Basically. Like, no, you're not going to get any Star Wars or E.T., Pac-Man or Mario Brothers or any of that. This is just straight up Atari. So we're gonna go on the Tempest. It's a hood classic. These games load right up. There's no menu or anything. I do really like that the start button is on the controller, so you don't have to go up to the console. That's a nice little feature. Obviously, this version of Tempest is nowhere near close to the original, but I'm sure 80s kids were shitting their pants. So, they probably love this. It's not bad. It's not a bad version. It is definitely the game of all time. So, that's cool. I thought my game froze, but I guess I got shot. When you get shot in this version, it just looks like it freezes. So, yeah, we'll go to another game, more interesting game. One thing that you gotta know is you gotta have the infrared sensor within range of the actual console, which, depending on your setup, can be a bit annoying, but it shouldn't be that much of an issue. So here's Missile Command. It's definitely Missile Command. Apparently there were some newer versions of this flashback that have like SD card support that you can add your own ROMs, which honestly, yeah, I thought this was that version. Or there's some that have a USB drive that can go in and like solder something to it and it can load off USB, but this is from 2011, so it's kind of before retro gaming boom took off, so this one I don't believe is hackable or anything. Not like I really wanna play any. I'm not the biggest Atari fan like this and This one and the little TV one I reviewed are really my main experiences with Atari. Atari is just a weird brand that somehow still exists. I know they're owned by Infogrames or whatever now, and they're basically just the leftovers, the scraps, making collections and weird new games and Unity and all that. But like Atari is the kind of company brand that you gotta grow up with to like it, because younger people like myself really are. I mean, we can appreciate what they did in the time, but some of these games are just so obtuse and confusing. Like, what is this? This is I think Fireworld. Like, what am I supposed to get out of this? I mean, there are some cool effects. I won't lie. Like, there's some good effects in here, but like, if I had a strategy guide, where are you going? But I mean, I can see why people do love the Atari. It is a cultural icon, and good and bad ways. So, yeah. There's some good games on here, I'm sure. Just not really my cup of tea. It is weird that this version of Asteroids is all, like, colorful. It's kind of... It looks like you're shooting a bunch of cereal pieces. Sure, I'm not the only one that's made that comparison. But the stick and the button are very... For how cheap they are, it's honestly pretty good. The button's huge, and you can easily rest your thumb on it, and the stick, like I said, is comfortable, not as stiff as original 2600 controllers. Like, if I was more in Atari, this would be my preferred way to actually play these games. I mean, maybe I'd get a newer model or something, because I know there's, like, the Atari 51, wow. There's the Atari 51 that have infrared. I think they might even be Bluetooth, I'm not sure. I think they still might actually be infrared. But you can actually, like, load up ROMs. They even have, like, Atari arcade ROMs on the newer ones, which is kind of cool. Better than just a 2600 ROM dump. But for a device in 2011, this is honestly not bad. I think I got this for, like, $7 in the box. Like, nobody wanted this. So, I'm gonna give this thing, like, a B, honestly. I think a B is fair. You get a decent amount of games. I think it's like at least like 60 or 70 games on here. Obviously, there's no licensed games on here. You're getting strictly Atari, but I mean, if you can find this thing really cheap, I think I found this at a Savers or thrift store for like barely anything. Yeah, pick it up. If you want a bit more quality and obviously like on an HDMI TV, get the newer ones. Obviously, this works well on an old CRT. So yeah, I'm gonna give this thing an A. It's pretty good. I can't really complain.